go. Everything's good, set up good. So yeah, happy to connect with you. How's it going?
I've got my grapefruit juice and my apple, so
nice.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, cool. I love grapefruits. I love citrus. Yeah, welcome to the show. This is just the Infinite Cup. I don't know if you know a little bit about it, but basically I just want to talk to people, that are just on the journey and very much, on an inspirational path, because a lot of people are just, in the same boat as us, and it's something that we need to hear, as many inspirational stories as possible. So I just want to hear kind of,
You're talking to the right person then, because I have had a very magical week. Let me just say that. Like,
cool.
It is very synchronistic to me. My life's always really synchronistic, but it's extremely synchronistic that I'm talking to you on a week that has been one of the most magical weeks of my life, because I've been calling out to the universe that I really need friends, because my best friend passed away a few months ago. And I've been saying, and before that, I got out of a bad relationship where I feel like I was with somebody who I just didn't know who they were. And I've gone through a lot of manipulation with my spirituality.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty hardcore, and I've been, violated in ways that, that have happened to made me who I am.
Yeah. Good for you for embracing it. That's what it's all about.
It's not easy to do, but that's the only thing you can do.
No, that's what this is all about. This is about the, growing path. This is how you learn. This is how you evolve. A lot of people are sweeping their problems under the rug, and that's not how you grow. So,
well, then you just stay in the depression, and then you just, the thing that people forget is that we didn't come here for it to be perfect. We came here to make it better.
Exactly. Thank you.
And we also didn't come here to fit in, because then we wouldn't be here, because we need, obviously, every year things change, and that's the reason why more people are born, so that we can create something that is different, not to fit in,
Exactly, yes. Well,
and that's so misinterpreted.
It is, very much. And it's very, for me, it's very environment-oriented, because we absorb our environment, and in this modern world, there's just a lot of, we just value things on the surface. It's a very shallow approach. And, the thing that we're talking about here is, meditation or veganism, food, all these things are, kind of getting through all of that clutter in your life, and it enables you to kind of go within and ask these questions. Like you just said, you feel violated, and you had someone in your life that was not who you think they were. All these things are people living on the surface. We think that everything is right where we can see it, and it's actually not. That's not how it works.
And you can let it keep hurting you, but the way that I got around that, and it's taken me a long time to get around that, because it's really painful when you're deep. I mean, I was deep in a committed relationship with this person, and we were getting ready to move out, and then he stopped talking to me for 2 weeks, and I was left with all of his plants, and I had to go up to his school to get my things back. I had to sit in the sun for 3 hours, and I still don't know what happened. I never got my closure, but I gave it to myself, because I told myself, well, look at the life I'm living, look at the life he's living, and look at what he values and what I value. They completely, what I thought before was that they matched up. And I think that he was just stringing me along. And now I realize that. But I didn't realize it at the time. And it just helps you to enrich your life, because you realize how much value there is in the things that they don't see value in at all. And that's a gift in itself.
Exactly.
So.
Yep, and these things, like when we say violation or all of our problems or our traumas or anything like that, that is, the universe teaching us a lesson. And you can actually, take this victim approach and do the poor me thing, or you can put your big boy and big girl pants on and, try to understand this lesson that the universe is trying to teach you. And once you take responsibility like you're doing now, you realize that everything is being created for you. You are creating this. It has nothing to do with anybody else at all. Even this person that you're mentioning has nothing to do with them. It's all for you. It's all for your journey, and it's all for you.
I had a girlfriend who I was talking with earlier today, and she said something to me. She said, I've heard a lot about this manifestation stuff, and I'm thinking in my head, I believe it 100%. And she talked to me about, she's like a skeptic, and she's a really smart girl, but she's totally still in the middle of her awakening process, and it's beautiful to see it. But she's like, I don't understand how so many bad things have happened to me. How did I manifest them? How did I attract those things in my life? And I said, well, I can go back to when some things happened to me where rape has been something that's been really talked about with me and a lot of females lately, because there's just been so much abuse in that category of men not listening. And I know it can go both ways, but recently it hasn't been the other way. It's only been coming with, almost every girl I know.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm sure you're aware of. Very much.
Big time. And it's like I said, it's not. We don't have to emphasize on these traumas. You know what I mean? Because I feel like people are putting too much energy on that, and that's where they give away their power, and that's where the victim mentality begins.
But I think it's hard to not emphasize on it when it has such a wound on you, and then we don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I agree.
I want to make a goal out of making a women's group in my area so that we have a safe space to share it. But it's kind of been hard for me to work up the gumption to do that. But now it's becoming a lot easier because I'm having all these people who are gravitating toward me because I manifested it, because I'm asking the universe for help with it.
Yes.
Because I can't possibly do it my own.
Yes.
And I said to my friend that idea, and she said, yeah, I really feel like that would help. But I said, and we need to just cry it out together and have our women help us out, and then she said, I don't know if I could cry. I haven't cried about this in a long time. And I said, that's exactly what you need to do then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I always go back to environment because she's in an environment where, she has to play this role that's not allowing her to feel her feelings. I mean, it's just that simple.
She is. So, she's working at a Hungry Howie's all the time. Yeah. And this isn't even like her at all.
But you have to remember the universe always gives you what you want. We're talking about free will right now. And people are identified with these traumas or these problems, okay? And that's what I'm telling you is like, this is very like beautiful of you, like wanting to help people, and we are helping others in our own abilities. I'm just saying a lot of people... Yeah, but you can
only help them to a certain point, because once you notice that they're identified with it,
Exactly. My point that I'm trying to make here is it has to come from within. And this isn't an outside thing. And for you, like, creating a women's group is amazing because that's creating the environment for this person to, open up and express themselves just naturally. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
There isn't that kind of thing over here. We don't have that.
I'm sure. And that's the thing is, in this modern world, our environment doesn't allow that. Our jobs, our relationships, whatever, it's very artificial, because of our environment.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I live in the middle of the city. I've always grown up in the city, and I'm not a city girl at all.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I was born in the city.
Yeah, exactly. To learn and to grow and to show others about how to do the things that you're doing. And it takes courage, right? It takes... commitment.
And I've identified with my pain for a long time. And it's just one of those things that I'm actually just starting to kind of realize. Even if I am still feeling some of the pain, I have body pain, and even if I still am, it's still not something that I need to identify with, because it's just a teacher of, some people are in pain for their whole life because they're crippled. So I'm just lucky I can walk.
Yeah. Oh no, you're doing great. Okay, so I'm curious now. I just want to ask you a question. So what was the how old are you right now? I'm just curious.
19.
19.
Yeah,
wow.
Get into
Good
it,
for
right?
you. Good for you. Wow. Okay, so you're 19 years old. What was the first thing? Was it a green juice? Was it a trauma? You don't have to get detailed into it. I'm just curious what it was. Just whatever event in your life, because you're 19. You're very young, so this must have happened early on. To just one event.
It happened when I was in the middle of 7th grade. Okay, so first of all, I was homeschooled up until 2nd grade.
Okay.
And then when I went to school, it was very traumatic. I was the kid who, when my mom left, I was crying in the middle of the class, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I bet.
Anyways, that's just the brief, and then they put me back a grade because I wasn't able to take the FCAT, so they thought I was an idiot. And they actually looked at me like that and talked to me like it.
Yeah.
And because I was homeschooled, and I was this weird creature,
Oh, yeah.
But then when it came to science, I was like, oh, I know the butterfly cycle. So then they skipped me up. I didn't go to 5th grade at all.
Okay.
And then I went to 6th grade, and I was the tallest kid. I was the 3rd tallest in the school. So then I was already looked at like I was this scary bully. Yeah. And I wore makeup because I was new into it, and I looked like I was the 8th grader, so all the 6th graders told me, the 8th grade area is over there, you're in the wrong area. And so that was hard for me. I already didn't have any friends the first day, it was so hard. And then I ended up making friends with all the tall girls because we were all in the same category. And we were all shy and sweet, and nobody realized. And then they got to know us throughout the year, so then I became friends with everybody. And I was friends with the emo kids, the popular kids, every different group, the Mexicans, you call them different things.
Oh, yeah, I know. I remember high school like it was yesterday,
So, then that was kind of tough. And then I remember when I first entered middle school, the first thing, what I would have told you a few months ago, is that the first thing that happened to me was that in the middle of 7th grade when I was 13, I was riding a longboard with one of my good friends in my neighborhood, and we were at her father's house. I was going down this long hill, and I fell off a longboard, wiped out pretty bad. And I didn't have any broken bones or anything. I went and got x-rays because after 2 weeks, I felt worse than I did in the beginning. And it wasn't like I was just sore. It was like something happened.
Yeah.
Something really powerful happened. And it just stirred things up. Like, I don't know. It was really ridiculous. I thought I was sick. And they thought I had juvenile arthritis, and then I said, no, I don't. My intuition was speaking through me from that moment.
Good, yes.
And it awakened my intuition. So I told the doctor, no. And then he comes back, he says, you don't have it. And I go, I told you. So then he sends me to 50. I've gone to, like, 300 or more doctors in 5 years, right?
I bet. Mm-hmm.
So I went down this path of going to doctor, and they would tell me I have fibromyalgia. They'd tell me I have this, that, you know. And then I finally went to a place that was 2 hours away in Orlando, a children's hospital that's supposed to be really good. Mm-hmm. And they told me I had multiple musculoskeletal pain syndrome. And I said, well, what can I do for that? And they said, you can take depression pills and you can go to a therapist. And then they told my parents not to baby me and to push me and not to help me.
Yeah. And
then my parents said, no.
Good.
We're not doing that.
Good.
My parents are very spiritually awake.
Yeah, good.
And I'm just, I had a very hard car ride that day home. I felt like my life was just taken from me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. And then now, after the healing I've done actually just this week, I've done so much healing this week. It's been like the amount of healing that you do in years of your life.
Good, yes.
And not to mention, oh boy, so I would tell you now that my awakening happened in 6th grade, not 7th grade. My first real awakening was when everybody in the school called me a whore and a slut because I was new, and I didn't even know what the word meant.
Oh, I bet.
So I had just got my Facebook. It was a couple weeks after I got a Facebook. I got it, begging my mom, it'll be okay, please let me get it.
Yeah.
She said, okay, you're in middle school now, you can get a Facebook.
Yeah.
And all these girls that I didn't know were commenting on all of my pictures saying you're a whore, you're a slut, you're dirty, all this stuff. And it hurt so much because I was feeling the pain of the past from when I've gone through things like that. And I've had visions of it in some psychedelic trips that I've had.
Yeah.
So I didn't but at that point I wasn't into psychedelics because I was too
obviously,
young. So that was just the first, and that was very real in in the third dimension or whatever dimension I was in then.
Yeah.
And I remember looking up the word, and I was like, oh my God, Mom, why are they calling me this? I haven't done anything. I was a virgin.
I bet, yeah. I mean, you're so young, it's silly. Yeah.
I was like, this is silly. And then all these guys said that they had sex with me, so people believed it. And I went through all that for a while. And that was something. So then I think that would be the first awakening. And then after that, after I got through all that, I had the longboarding accident that did the thing. And so for 5 years, I was going down this path of just trying to get a diagnosis. And then I went to a doctor. Then we heard about this thing called Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And then they told me that. Then I looked into it. I stayed up all night, almost every night, just going crazy in the research. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to live a normal life again.
Exactly.
And I was getting all these neurological symptoms. I thought I was going crazy. And I was not able to walk. I got to the point where I was bedridden and I had to use crutches and I had to crawl to the bathroom. So then I was like, and I was smoking a lot of weed with tobacco. I was smoking blunts. And I was smoking so much though. More than anybody I've ever known. I was smoking 20 blunts a day sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay. I totally get it.
All I did was just sit there and just do it all day with my friends because I was in this
because you're in pain. You need to numb out. You need to get away from the feelings that are inside your body.
Right. Right. And I wasn't like getting the snap out, you know.
Yeah.
So then I got robbed a few times because I was selling weed and I like took a lot of bad hits, and then that kind of, made me wake up a little more.
Good, yeah.
Because once you get $600 ripped out of your pocket, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You're like, this is real world shit. This
See,
is
I love these stories so much because what I do, okay, is what I call the cosmic view. Like,
I'm not trying to talk too much either.
Oh, no, you're doing great. This is beautiful. What I'm saying is, like, when you tell this story, like, in the physical, from your perspective, okay, there's always what I call the cosmic view, all right? You got to look at this from way up, okay? The universe itself, God, whatever words you want to use. And it's like a puzzle, you know, and all these pieces are fitting together, and you're just a piece in this puzzle. So you getting robbed is just an experience that you needed for you to have this shake in your, you know, because obviously $600, you know, we value. So it's like if the universe takes that away from you, you have to pay attention now. You see? And that's something that the universe does to get our attention. And whatever we value, it's going to take it away from us to get our attention, because the physical, like what we see in this physical world, is the last place where it manifests. That thing you're talking about, getting robbed, happened energetically, you know, a long time ago in some other plane, and it really just took that time to manifest as the physical. Now, I'm curious, though, so all these things happen, though, and like, okay, I get it, you know, the traumas, all this, we all have that. Now, what was that switch? What was that moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to start juicing, or I'm going to start, you know, telling these ladies on Facebook to F off, or what, you know what I mean? What was that moment in your mind's eye or your intuition or whatever it is that, you know, gave you this power, this ability, this courage within your heart to go...
There we go.
Yes.
I just thought of it.
Yes. Let's hear that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why I was like, I don't want to talk your head off about
it's okay. Like I said, I totally...
But I have to, like, kind of build up to get to it.
It's good. It's good. The background story is good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe all of that. Yeah, the cosmic, I'm totally with that.
Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital. That's why I was saying I couldn't walk, right?
Yeah.
And then I felt this huge pain in my stomach, and it was like a block in my intestines. It was after I had a psychedelic trip on acid that I took too much, I guess, and I thought I was going to die. And then the next, I don't know, I guess that pulled more stuff up that happened from another life.
Yes.
And I'm very aware that it happened in another life.
Yeah,
and I think it might have been the way that I died. I'm not sure, but it was really something. And I almost died in the hospital. My heart rate got really high. I was dating somebody at the time that this is just such a good story. Oh my gosh. So I was in the hospital, and I was still smoking blunts at the time. So my dad and my mom would wheel me out into the parking garage so that I could smoke a little bit.
That's so awesome.
Because the people at the hospital wouldn't let me use any pain medication except for Tylenol. I was being tortured. They were the evil.
I bet. Yeah, I know. It's just the system.
They were. I got sent to the hospital, and then now I know never to go back there again.
Good. Yeah.
But when I went there, I didn't know that basically I'm an angel, and you can, like, you know, in let's put it in that kind of perspective where there's the good and there's the bad, right?
Yeah.
So then you've got the good, and then once you're awakened, there's certain people out there that can see that.
Oh yeah.
That aren't on your side.
Oh yeah.
And then if you're not aware of yourself, then you're not able to protect yourself with that.
Very true.
So I was at that point where I was just like, here's this little angel that just dropped, and you're taking it in your hands and you're giving it over, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like this war that I actually felt because I was in the bed and I couldn't really move. I was so weak, and I had a tube in my nose that was sending me yellow stuff so that I could shit.
Yeah.
And it, you know, and because I was constipated.
Yeah.
I thought it was it, and I've never thought that before in my life. I really did, and I looked at my dad, and my dad doesn't really cry, and he cried, and he held my hand, and he looked at me, and he said, "Honey, you need to pull through. I need you. You need to make it."
Good.
And I was like, "Oh God, I can't do this." And then I called on the angels, and I went in the bathroom, and I couldn't stand up. I was sitting in the shower, and I was crying, and I was on the floor in the tub, and I was pleading. I said, "God, if you're real," "please hear my cries." And I'm saying, "Please, for mercy, take me or let me heal." And I said, "If it's my time, I'm ready to go, but I don't think it is. So please help me through this." And I said it with everything in me, with the strongest voice I could, and I called on all the angels I could think of. And I called on, you know, benevolent energies, if I knew about them at that time. Whatever I knew about, I called on.
Of course. Yeah, this is great.
And I had this night that after I called on them, it was like my heart rate went up so much that was when my dad said, "Honey, you need to make it through," because he was starting to get worried at that point.
Yeah.
And you know, and I was screaming. It was like what I felt was I was burning in hell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was completely, entirely, 100% burning in hell to the point where I was just, if I had a gun, I wouldn't have taken myself out because I was going through too much pain to take myself out.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is like saying a lot, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I ended up, you know, it ended up subsiding a little bit, and my mom was laying in bed with me, and then, you know, they stayed with me that night. So one of my parents did. They stayed every night. I was only there for about 4 to 5 days, and then that was the fourth night, and I was laying in my bed, and I remember going to heaven, and I was brought up by the angels. They took me in their arms, and they brought me into the angelic realms, and I thought that I was there, and I wrote a poem that I'd love to send to you.
Oh, yeah, that sounds amazing, yes.
And I wrote it with their energies.
Oh,
because,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's really something. I was a writer, and I've been writing, like, that's been the thing that I've always taken to since 3rd grade.
Yes, of course.
I used to be the kid in the class who wrote 5 pages when you were supposed to write 1.
Yeah.
And the teacher would have to sit with me to get it to narrow down.
It explains so much from your other stories and stuff, because school is very, you know, left brain analytical numbers and stuff. So you're born as a woman too. You're born with this natural creative energy and the right brain, and school just wants to make you not do that and push you over here to this left side. It just doesn't work like that, you know. And our system of school needs to cater this energy like yourself. You're born with this creative energy, and we need to harness that rather than mold you into something else that you're not, you know. So it's just silly, the whole system itself. This is beautiful. I'm all about one words too. So what you did right there, in my opinion, in one word would be surrender. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so you surrendered finally for your first time in your whole life. You surrendered all of these things. It was a surrender of okay,
if I am going to die, I had to be okay with it. Yes. So that was the first time that I had to get through the fear of dying.
Yes, thank you. I just really want to bring that point up because a lot of people right now are causing their own suffering, okay? All of us are causing our own suffering.
I know, I have.
What you did in the shower right there is the exact protocol to relieve your suffering. Right there, you did it. Nobody told you how to do it. Nobody. You knew how to do it. Your parents didn't know how to do it. Nobody did. And you did it, okay? And you surrendered. And you notice how, this body, this human thing is not enough. It's just not what we're doing here, We are spirit soul. It's so much more than this. And I think
that's part of the problem is that we always think that, I'm enough. I'm human. I'm enough. But that's the thing that's just caught me up until recently, actually.
Good. See,
just
now...
the past few months, I've realized more because after my best friend died, it shook my whole world up. So I realized, okay... I need to realize that it took me some months. It's been about going on 6 months that he's passed, and now I'm I've gotten so much from him because he's still around.
Yeah, of course. Like I said,
he's telling me, you've got to let go of this human world, and you have to step into your spiritual strength that you were doing with me.
Exactly. Yeah. And it sounds like your poetry, your writing is your vessel for that, We all have our unique ability.
It is, but I feel like I've lost it. I feel like it's been taken away
Not
from
true.
me.
See, you're doing that to yourself right now as you say it.
I
mean, the power of I'm not trying to correct you in any way. I'm just saying the power of the words is very powerful. So, you just got to follow that excitement.
Counterbalancing. So I did not take that away from me. It's not taken away from me. I have my writing.
Exactly.
I have my vessel.
Exactly. And that's
it's okay to say how you feel, but you have to be aware of what you're saying so that you can balance it out.
Yes. Definitely express your feelings. I'm just taking, if it comes out of your thoughts and your words are literally creating reality as we speak this conversation right now. So I'm just all about conscious language and everything. And I know you have these gifts. You have these abilities, and it's up to you to bring them out into the world to share with people like myself that are interested, And it's going to help others. See, that's your gift, and that's what you have. And you have it already. Nobody can take it away from you no matter what you do. Okay, I have one more question. So that was beautiful. Spiritual story is beautiful. Now I'm curious how you bring this into your diet, your lifestyle, just your day to day.
Well, so that was the thing. So for a long time, I think part of what was making me sick was my diet. I was eating really bad.
Okay.
And I was eating meat, so that's a lot of turmoil right there.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even realize, I didn't even know what the word vegan was. And then after I almost had my near-death experience, I got out of the hospital, and then I basically came back to my mom. My mom's always been organic. She raised me eating organic blueberries.
Good.
So she was eating good, and she was on this gluten-free diet while all of this was happening.
Yeah.
And she brought me her own chicken bone broth in the hospital. So then when I got out, the first thing I did was I said, Mom, I totally surrender to you. Please help me. Nice. And please help me with the diet.
Yeah.
So she just helped me. She fed me. And then what is his name? Ralph Smart.
Oh, yeah. Infinite Waters. Yeah.
Yeah, Infinite Waters.
Yeah.
I was gonna, because you're Infinite Cup, so I'm like, it's not that.
No.
But I thought I was getting mixed up because of Infinite Waters. I thought I was mixing the words.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
So he helped me. I was lost. I was really lost.
Good.
And I knew I was. So I stayed to myself, and I stayed in my room, and I just kind of healed. I didn't I healed.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And I was looking on Facebook, and I was looking on YouTube, and I just found one of his videos. It just stumbled up. Yeah. It was because the universe was sending it to me. I needed some help. And it was a video about energy and how this is the first thing that did it for me.
Yeah.
That really snapped it into me. Like, because I was eating good with my mom, but I was still eating bone broth, and I wasn't going vegan, and that was my problem. Yeah. Because I'm so sensitive.
Exactly.
Thank you. I ate fish last week for the first time in a long time, and it was salmon.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, it's a strong fish, and I know what some people say about it. Yeah. There's a lot of different things about it. Yeah. And I thought, I don't want to be one of those vegans who closes the door on that, so let me give it a try.
Good for you, yeah.
Then I'll know what I think. So I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah. It's experiential learning. I'm thanking you for doing that. Yeah, I don't want people to listen to...
When you try something that you shut out for a long time. Yeah. And I've done it a few times, but it's good for everybody to slip up, because every slip up you get stronger.
Yes. Exactly.
So I was still eating it, and then when I watched his video, it was very recent to when I got out of the hospital, and he said, energy is emotions in... Oh, hang on. Energy is your emotions in motion.
Yes, that's, exactly.
And when he said that, everything in me clicked, and I just turned on this light, and I was like, wait a second, what's he saying? Okay, and then he goes, if you eat something dead, if you eat a dead thing, you're consuming this stagnant dead energy that isn't going to move anything for you.
Thank you.
And it's going to clutter you. And I was like, what? Yeah. But it was like this change that happened inside of myself when I heard those words. It's something inside of me was like, do, dotted up. And I go, okay, all right. So then I kept watching it, and he says, if you eat something that's alive, it's going to heal you. It's going to heal your chakras. It's going to clean that energy out. So I basically dropped eating meat then, but I was smart because I also didn't want to do it. I also know myself, so I knew that if I did it at once, I was just going to come right back to it.
Exactly. It's not sustainable. Yeah. That's what's happening right now a lot on YouTube and stuff, and it's something that I've seen for many years. It's what I call the Slingshot Effect. Because you repress all this energy because you're not doing it for real reasons that are true to you. You're doing it for artificial reasons, whatever they might be.
Maybe an ego trip.
Exactly. And then 2 years pass by and everything just springs right back to you, and you're back in the raw dairy or meat or whatever. And it's the slingshot effect. I've seen it happen like many people now. And thank you for talking about this, because you're exactly right. You have to do this at your own pace, otherwise it's not going to be sustainable. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I just did it over the course of a few weeks, and I think within a month I was done eating meat.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful.
By the second month I was like, feeling rejuvenated entirely. And then it was a little bit after I did that I found Anthony Williams, medical medium.
Yeah, I'm so happy you did.
My mom is the one who, she stumbled on him right when I got out of the hospital.
Perfect.
Because of me. She was searching for years to find answers for me. Yeah. And then we found him, and he was talking about the angels, and we believe in angels, so we connected with that. And then he said, we aren't Christians or anything. We're open.
Yeah. There's no need for any labels. I mean, angels are angels. It's like the sunlight. It doesn't, there's no, it doesn't have to, it's just silly.
But I just wanted to clarify that I'm not, like, religion-based with it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. Totally. I get it. There's a big thing between spirituality and religion, and it's like you don't have to be religious to be spiritual and vice versa, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just not about any labels whatsoever. And although I do practice all of these things that we are mentioning in this, video, I, at the same time, do not, if you were to ask me, Robert, what are you? I would be like, I am that I am. That would be my answer to you, and that's it.
I used to always say that. That's funny, yeah.
That's a good one to keep with you no matter what, and just tell that to everybody who asks you that question for the rest of your life. Because people are so fixated on that one thing. I can't tell you how many times I get messages like, oh, Robert, what's that one smoothie or what's that superfood that you like it's going to cure their ailment for the rest of their life and they're going to be good forever, And this is a daily practice. Every single day I get up and do the same practice that I did 10 years ago or 15 years ago. This is nothing like new or exciting, not glamorous or pretty that everybody kind of wants it to be,
Yeah, right. No, that's the part about it that catches people is that they slip back because they're like, this isn't what I thought it would be. Yeah. I want to go back to the old self.
Exactly.
I don't want to be awake like this.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You have to move forward.
Can't do it. It's just, you can try, but...
So then I found out about the celery juice thing, and that was the first thing. So then I did that for about a couple weeks straight at least, and because my stomach was blown out.
I bet. From the
After
hospital and all that stuff.
Everything was just different, and it just needed healing. So I did a lot of bone broth, I did celery juice, and then I switched to veggie broth. And then I just went on his healing cleanses, and I got myself together.
Good.
And I started to see some auras, and I started to get extremely more sensitive.
Yeah.
I started to feel everything and everybody, and it was like, I realized that it was all because of the meat that I had been unawake for so many years because my family fed me that forever.
Your body has to process it, you know what I mean? Like that's why I created the Infinite Cup like this.
It's emotional turmoil. It blocks you.
And I don't want to talk about like just spirituality or just health. That's why I created the Infinite Cup like this, because I know a lot of spiritual people that are very unhealthy, and then I know a lot of like really raw foodie, like fruitarian people that are extremely unhealthy because of their spiritual practices and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It's not all about the food, and it's not all about like your spirituality.
It's a mixture of everything. It's the balance of everything that is.
Everything. There's way too many variables in this equation for us to like pick one of it out and just examine it. It just doesn't work like that.
It's also the matter of. It's like if you want something, if you pick a narrow path and you're like, okay, I want a boyfriend, but I want him to be this way. I want him on this day. I want him like this. I want him this color. I want his name to be this name. And then it's gonna take you fucking forever. You're never gonna get it because you're not leaving it open to. Okay, I know what I want, and I want somebody loving. Okay, here we go. I'm open for that, and then you let it go.
Exactly.
You can't hold on to it still because it's not gonna come back to you like a boomerang effect.
Yeah. That's the recipe for manifestation or the law of attraction. That's exactly what it is.
That's what I said to my friend earlier who was talking about manifestation. I said, part of the manifestation is that you have to let go of it.
That's actually the most important part that nobody talks about. Because if you manifestation, they think like, oh, I'm going to get that car, I'm going to get that boyfriend, whatever. And they're just like holding on to it and like squeezing it and like, oh, it's a pretty puppy. And then... That's just not how it works. And it's crazy because I've tested this many, many times in my life. And that moment when you fully surrender and fully let go of whatever you were manifesting, that's when it happens. And it's crazy how fast it happens when you get really good at surrendering and letting go. Because trust me, the wanting something, having a desire is easy. Like that's the easy part. The letting go and the surrendering, that's where it takes the courage and it takes the energy to really let go, because what we're talking about right now is very simple. In one word, it's just faith. That's it.
Yeah.
You gotta have faith. That's it.
I love that. In one word, yeah.
One word, because I'm just about one word. Okay, I want one word answers from people because the mind complicates everything. And the mind can handle one word at a time, right? So everything that we just talked about in that last 2 minutes really was just about faith. That's it, faith. And people don't have faith in 2019. They simply don't have it. I don't see it anywhere. And it's something that is very sad to me.
It's so refreshing to see faith with another person and be able to
course.
talk back and forth.
That's like what motivates my life every single day. That's the fire that is within me that's what every action, everything that I do comes from that. Knowing that I am completely taken care of no matter what I do. No matter what I do.
That is exactly my motto in life every day, is that no matter what, I'm completely taken care of. I don't need to stress, not a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. That's beautiful. This has been great. Oh my gosh. So you got this. You got the diet. And you're right. So everything you're doing right now is obviously working. I can see it in you and your energy field and everything. It's obviously working. You just need to keep up with it. You can see it? Oh, of course. Yeah, it's really easy for me. I don't talk about it like out loud for most people because they're just not into it and it kind of is off-putting to them. But you're already...
I understand.
You're into it and you get it. So
may I ask you what you see with my energy field?
Oh, sure. I see all kinds of things. Okay, if you want to get into that, that's, yeah, I can give you like a, yeah, I'll do it. Are you ready? You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So everything that you said is 100% true in the sense of your creativity and the poetry and the, how do I put it, the angelic realms, okay? If I were you, I could do this right now, but I'm recording the video and it would take longer. But you need to meditate and you need to figure out what specific angel that is. And if you dig deep enough, you might already know who or she it is. But what I'm saying is you are drawn and you are connected to a very specific lineage that is not on this earth right now, that you are channeling into this earth, okay? And in
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, one second. I'm not... So, and more specifically, it's just like me, okay? You're connected to the earth realm and you're connected to Siri, which is, okay, how do I put this?
I'm aware of all of what you're already saying.
You're very, you're connected to, how do I put this in words that you can understand? Okay, like fairies and elves and like
before you even said
mystical
it, I'm very
things.
much able to feel what you're trying to say.
Yeah, okay, good. So, it's very earthly, but you got to understand it's something about nature. Like your gift is nature. Like your gift is the ability to.
This is great. Thank you.
See,
oh my gosh.
yeah, see, and you have
I've
this.
been having like other things that are trying to. You know what it's like.
Yes. Oh.
And when you're living in the city, and I still live at home, there's all these complications, and I have a healing gift that if somebody's sick, I'm told what medicine to give them.
Exactly. Yes, and that's all of our abilities. It's just a lot of people are listening to the monkey mind up here, and they're not listening to their heart. So that's all this is. If you get rid of this and just listen to your heart, all of these gifts are going to blossom like a flower if you just let it happen. And you already know those things that you need in your life for them to blossom, like the grapefruit juice that you're drinking right now, like the other things that Medical Medium talks about. Basically, over time, these are what I call tools on the tool belt, you know? I need that green juice. I need to be in nature for, at least an hour. Otherwise, I get weird, So... Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You just got to really understand what you need for yourself to like get up to that energetic level every day, like before 8 a.m. even, just so you're there, 100% every single day. And then you're just sharing your gifts. And you're just sharing your gifts with the world. That's all you're doing, And I guarantee you it's your poetry and it's your creative energy through your writing. It doesn't have to be poems, but it's definitely a written something into the world. I see you... I don't think it's a book. You're going to do something vocal. Maybe you're going to be a singer or something. If I really get into it, that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of distracting for me with this video. I have to like close my eyes and like do this whole thing. But you are definitely going to do that in the future if you allow these gifts to blossom within you. Yes, 100%.
I feel like a singer, but I have something that's going on.
It's a throat chakra thing. I can see it. It's okay. You just need to eat all the blueberries. You need to go back to the blueberries because this is blue, right? So just eat all the...
I eat blueberries.
Every day.
Last night.
Every day. Eat those blueberries, those wild blueberries. And what you need to do, too, to ramp this up, I'm really into affirmations. Me
too.
So just keep doing your affirmations and the wild blueberries because you have a throat chakra, but it's tied to your Anya, like mine, right?
Yes, I know.
So what's happening is, like, for me, when my throat chakra gets out of balance, this might be what you're feeling too, is like I almost think the words before they come out of my mouth too fast. So that's why the throat chakra needs to open up. So you need to do something creative, like either write music or write poetry, and then like like sing it or put some music on in the background and like just say your poetry out loud. Does that make sense? Because
I do that.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. If you already do that, then keep doing that because
I have a microphone set up in my garage.
Oh, perfect. See, you're already into this. Yeah, you're already doing it.
But the thing is, I feel this thing that's like blocking
You feel the stuck. Okay, yeah. So then you need, okay, I have crystals. You need to wear a crystal on your neck every day. Okay.
I usually do. I just took it off. But, oh wait, I'm wearing this one.
Okay, good. What is that one? What is that
This one is it's a white and flaky one. It might be dermonite or something, but it was my great grandma's stone.
That's
it's an
beautiful.
angelic white stone.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's like it's
like
very
fluorite
flaky.
almost,
It's
yeah.
very angelic.
Or selenite, maybe. It's beautiful, whatever it is.
It's not selenite at all.
I'm just saying when you have the when you wear it on your neck, you know, this is an amethyst, but for you, you know, I would go with something blue or aquamarine, just whatever your favorite.
You know what? This is ridiculously crazy because I lost my kyanite necklace that I made into a choker because my intuition told me to make a blue stone to set here all the time.
Exactly. See, and that's what I'm telling you because I'm picking up on that same message. See, so it's just you're not taking action. You got to remember that the angels or whatever guides you're talking about, they can only do what they do, and then you have to take action. And when you take action, that tells them that excites them, and that tells them that you're listening, and then they give you more information. The universe always gives you what you want, and we're talking about free will. And the angels are going to come in, and they're not going to disable your free will.
Turquoise earrings here.
Good, yeah, earrings. Do it on your necklace, and for me, I lay them I just put them on my body and lay down for hours.
I've been doing that, but I've gotten off that because I kind of started to feel I was doing it. It wasn't helping enough that I felt stuck. Like I wonder if this is really working or not.
See, that's just your mind canceling out the effects of this working. See what I'm saying? Like, that's the power of the mind, okay? And the meditation, you need to get that meditation practice dialed in.
I meditated for 3 hours yesterday.
Yes, because what that does is that separates your thoughts and gets the witness mode. So now you can actually get in that cosmic view that I'm talking about, and you can be like, wow, my monkey mind is going crazy today. I'm not going to listen to all of that. I'm just going to go do this thing over here. You know, I'm just going to go walk in nature because it's crazy, because I love it, you know?
Yeah, right.
And you don't even listen to that monkey mind. You thank it. What I do is I pat it on the back. I'm like, thank you for your input.
Me too. I do the same.
Thank you for that. You know, I appreciate your input, but I'm actually going to go do this thing over here, you know?
I took a tiny bit of a psilocybin mushroom the other day, and it was supposed to be way mellower than it was.
Yeah.
But I got my period the same day, so it was this super intense. It felt like I ate 8 shrooms when it was the size of my fingernail. And I was deep in it to the point where I was like getting my ass whooped by the universe. Because it was like throwing me through. Because here's the thing, I've been going through a lot lately anyways, so it was not the time to take something like that.
Yeah.
But but it was the time to take it.
If you want to, it'll speed it up like you're talking about. It'll speed up all those things that you're feeling in your field. So if you want that, then yes. But for a lot of people, that could be too much, and it could create a little cave that people want to hide out in.
That's why it happened to me, because it made me have to pull out of the cave.
Exactly.
Because I had to face all of my fears, because when you take something like that, you can't turn it off until it's over.
No.
So I had to go through it, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to do this, you know? And for the first hour, I just wanted to share with you that I was fighting it.
Yeah.
And I called my boyfriend and I said, hey, can you help me out? I didn't mean to do this to myself. And he said, because he's been accidentally dosed at a festival with 10 hits of acid.
Oh, my God.
So I thought he'd be able to help me. And he tried, but I realized that I could be the only person to help myself. So I told him, okay, thanks for talking to me for a little bit. It was great to hear your voice. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And I went outside. It was my mom's birthday, too. So I was feeling all these pulls of, like, what I needed to do, and that I needed to be there for her. But then I had to tell myself, no, you need to go outside. You need to meditate for a long time.
Yeah, good.
And I went in the middle of my lemongrass. I have this huge patch of it, and I have this little spot that I meditate in. And I sat there. Lemongrass is really good for unblocking energy.
Oh, yeah.
And I prayed, and I asked the angels to just help me through this. And they did, and I released, and I let go, and I realized how much fear I was holding on to, and how much I was just, my best friend died on mushrooms, so I had to go through the feeling of, I told myself I wasn't going to take a trip in a little while because I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
And then that is exactly why I needed to have that experience because that's not actually who I am.
Yeah.
That's how some people are, but I'm the opposite. When I'm feeling a lot, I like to just go in it.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's because something in my life wasn't resonating with me. The fact that because somebody who's so close to me passed, I was deciding to change all these parts about myself.
Yes.
Then I had to take something. The universe was like, okay, we're going to do something right now. Because we're not going to let you keep going down this path of letting your monkey mind control you because of a situation that was very dramatic.
Exactly.
And it was so dramatic that it's been hard for me to get clarity through it. But, you know, the things that are hard are so worth it, though.
Exactly. And for me, I mean, when you talk to me like this, for me, death is nothing. So that's my attitude, you know, because
that's how I feel
it's
too,
something.
Right?
It's just something that I've experienced multiple times, and when people finally have that release that they need to, then it's really nothing to get in the way.
Thing.
And it comes down to just fear or love, and a lot of people have a lot of fear-based everything, you know? So if you just come at it with love, whether it's an overdose on a trip or something, if you just stay in that love place, then you're fine, you know? That's what I've learned.
Well, the thing is, I'm just so sensitive that I feel like I'm tripping all the time anyways.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
Yeah, 24/7. No, 24/7. And that's the thing. I can honestly tell you, I've had way more, like 1,000 times more intense psychedelic trips completely sober than on anything I've ever taken. And I've taken quite a few things in my life. Everything that you've probably heard of, I've done it.
Right.
And nothing comes close to the power of just the human mechanism. And here's what I would say about all of that stuff, is it only happens when, like I said, resistant. Here, I love this saying, okay? The only time that we get, funny feelings or whatever is when there's resistance. So
yeah, that's what I was telling you my story for. Because
good.
For the first hour, I was just resistant, and then that happened so that I could realize my own resistance.
Yes.
And so then I realized it, and I said, you know, I was standing out here on my deck, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to face this, and I'm going to feel everything that this is trying to make me feel right now.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know why. I said, why am I feeling so bad? And I was like, this was before I knew I got my period. So I didn't know that that's why my back felt like I was dying.
I bet.
And I didn't have any idea, so I'm over here like, I need to ground myself. I felt so out of my body. I mean, like, so in another way. Oh, my God. I've never felt so out of my body before.
Yeah.
And I've taken way more than that before, and I was so grounded when I did because I was ready for it. But I standed with my feet in the ground, and it wasn't grounding me for anything. Because that wasn't what my experience needed to be at the time. It needed to trigger all these fears in me of not feeling grounded and so that I could release the resistance to having an expectation of feeling grounded.
Beautiful. Well put. Exactly.
So I realized, okay, I need to let go of this resistance. And right when I realized that, I felt something huge come off me, and I was like, okay, I don't control the show.
Boom. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's it right there.
I've realized that, and I already do, but sometimes you need that again.
It takes a couple. I mean, realization, in yoga, I could spit a bunch of Sanskrit words at you. It wouldn't mean anything. I'm just saying there are, temporary realizations, like little glimpses that we get, that you're describing right now. And then there's ones that are like lasting, like your whole life, that you just can't go back from. And that's what you're talking about now that was beautiful put, because the way you described it with the grounding, that's what it takes. Because a lot of people go on these psychedelic trips or whatever, and they just don't bring anything back. And that's what frustrates me the most, is that's not what this is about. This is about, higher consciousness and actually learning something. And if you're doing all that stuff,
brought something back,
and if you're not bringing anything back to the tangible universe that we're all living in and, sharing reality with, then it's pretty much useless, It doesn't really do anything. So that's what's beautiful.
It's just making you feel good, and it's just letting you get rid of a temporary feeling. Then that feeling is going to come right back to you because you didn't remember why it was there.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Because everything's there to help you out, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt like it was going against me, and then I said, oh, right, I'm going against me.
It's so funny how it works.
Because whenever you think something's going against you, the only thing that I heard in my mind, I'm very connected with my higher self, so it said to me, like, it's kind of a comedian type thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Where your higher self is like, you ask a question, and it goes, oh, you know the drill. You're the one going against you, not anything else. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Thanks.
Comedy is very important. You gotta lighten up the situation, you know. We take things way too seriously. And, I mean, myself included, I've everything that I've, like,
it's
emphasized.
All a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. 100%. 100%. I mean, it's called Maya. It's an illusion. You know, it's something that we are, you know, experiencing our own evolution of the soul, and some people are just on different, you know, stages. That's all, and it's no judgment towards any of those people.
No, it's more of just seeing it and respecting it for what it is, and helping them with where they're at to get to another area.
Yeah, exactly, and sharing like you've done here. That's what I'm saying, because now people are going to hear this story and, you know, be in their hearts when this experience happens to them. Because in my opinion, this is going to happen to every human being on planet Earth if they allow it to happen and get out of that monkey mind and just embrace what's happening. Because these are energetic frequencies that are coming onto planet Earth. Like you're saying this week you've had all these experiences. That's because there is energy on the Earth right now that is available to us that is for this week and this week only. So it's something that you have to really tap into, you know, and that's why nature is so important, because if you're not in tune with that rhythm, then you're just going to miss it in life. It's just going to pass you right by. So this is good that you're, like I said, you're 19, you're already tapped into this, and it's just awesome because, like I said, a lot of people are not paying attention.
I still feel this lack of protection here.
Well, that's just...
And can I just share with you